Suicide Squad, Pokemon Go, Star Trek Discovery, League of Legends, eSports. We're going to be discussing all those things right now. My name's Dave Adams. You're watching Nerds of Wisdom Weekly. Let's see what's happening now. Well, you can't seem to make a Warner Brothers DC film at the moment without splitting the fan base and creating a little bit of controversy on the side. Suicide Squad has hit theaters and it's doing quite well, which isn't really surprising with blockbusters at the moment, and considering there's not a lot of competition for it, I would be amazed if it wasn't doing well at all. Another film in the DCU has failed to satisfy critics and has divided the fan base and, brought about a general sense of disharmony and displeasure. They don't seem to be able to do anything right at the moment. There's probably lots of reasons why. In fact, if you go onto the internet, there's many voices out there of people trying to explain why DCU is doing so poorly at making these films, and that hasn't been good for business, or hasn't at least instilled confidence within the culture and the community around it. And once again, it's brought the film under a bit of controversy. Kim Masters did an excellent article explaining why there was so much chaos around the film and perhaps some of the production issues it ran into. There is endless reasons why this film is not doing as well critically. Needless to say, it's gotten a few people outraged. In fact, this week it was announced that Warner Brothers and DC are being sued by a gentleman for false advertising. He says that the film trailers showed quite a lot of Joker and seemed to make him a central character, which was not what happened on screen. In fact, there are scenes of the Joker in the trailer that don't make it into the film. And for that reason, he's calling it false advertising. But this is nothing new. Trailers tell us things about the film which weren't actually true. I mean, just look at Transformers 2, one of the best trailers around, one of the worst films to come out of it. In fact, in the late 90s, I went to a movie marathon where we watched The Devil's Own, and then the very next film, they had a trailer for The Devil's Own showing footage that wasn't even in the film, and people were like, what? Trailers lie. Trailers are made before the final cut of the film comes to light, so the people making the trailer do the best they can with the footage that they've been given. And that's just a natural consequence of timelines and deadlines, and I'm not sure that this guy's going to have much of a case. I don't see this law case going anywhere, but it is hysterical, and there are some links to some more news articles on it. Needless to say, Suicide Squad has not been met with the regard that it was hoped to. It's just another example of a DC film underperforming. We've got to start asking why. As an audience member, I feel compelled to say something simply because I'm a nerd. And I want to watch good films. I want to watch interesting films. And Suicide Squad has the perfect mix of things. It has anti-heroes. As a child of the 80s, I'm pretty sure is instilled in my DNA that I love anti-heroes. It has comedy. It has great characters. It has a whole world in which to explore that's peripheral to the world of Batman and Superman. But somehow, they just haven't been able to make this one connect. And it should have been a hit. It really should have been. I definitely think there's a difference between well-made films and liking films. Anyone's entitled to like a film. Secret confession time, I happen to like Mortal Kombat the movie. I would be the first to admit that Mortal Kombat the movie is a terrible film. It's poorly made. It's hoaxy dialogue. It's terrible animation. It's not great. Look, it's bad. It's really bad. But I can't help but love it. Now, as nerds on the internet, we love to get carried away with explaining why a film is great and why a film is bad, and I get caught up doing exactly the same thing. But one of the things I've had to learn over time is that there is a difference between liking a film and knowing that a film's good. I could like a film because I was under stress and it helped lighten me up, or I could hate a film because I was under stress and I didn't enjoy the comedy. Two exactly the same scenarios, but different ways of responding to the situation. There's no real ability to explain why we like films. We just like them sometimes. But what we do is we confabulate. We try and come up with reasons why we like films. And as people in the modern age, we have the jargonese that goes with film critiques. Films are so much a part of our culture that little people talk about cinematography. So we use this stuff as a way of kind of justifying why something we like is good or bad, instead of just saying, you know what, I like it because I like it. So often on the internet, we get caught into these arguments over what's a good film, what's a bad film, and what we're really saying is that I like this film and please don't stomp on this thing that I like. And I know that it's hard because social media requires us to be emotive to be heard and to be extreme to get heard. And one of the great crimes of social media is that the voice of the moderate is dissipating because people don't want to listen to someone who just goes, well, let's consider the two sides. But maybe we need more of that. But look, don't despair because Suicide Squad is not the only thing being sued this week. In fact, it wouldn't be a week if we didn't have some sort of news on Pokemon Go. Lo and behold, Pokemon Go is being sued. Yes, Pokemon Go is being sued by a lady in Canada for, wait for it, failing to remove a Polka Gym from her front lawn. Pokemon has put a gym out the front of her house, and now she's claiming invasion of privacy. She's had people jumping the fence, she's had people staring out the front of her house, she's had large groups of people standing around her house at all times of night just to try and compete over this gym. Now, don't think this is just about taking money. This may actually be a legitimate concern and something we should consider for the future. She hasn't actually stated that she wants any money yet. She said she'll be suing for an amount and that's to be determined, but at this stage, all she wants is the gym gone. It's really more to make a point about the fact that she made a complaint to Niantic and Niantic sent her an electronically generated email saying that we will look into it, and did nothing about the email. She's calling this an invasion of privacy, which raises some really interesting questions. What ownership do we really have over our digital space? Now, with the advent of augmented reality, some of the big questions that are going to come into the sphere of things is, do we have the right to digitally put something into a physical space? Even though it doesn't exist in the world, it could have an impact, such as this lady's house, which has been invaded by these people because there's a poker gym there. And so there's going to be questions over property ownership, there's going to be questions over digital spacing, and can I own my digital space or can I rent my digital space out? So AR is really raising questions about digital space and what it could mean to us in the physical world. It could have more of a consequence than just learning, educational fun. It could really shape the way we view ourselves as physical beings in a digital world. And that's a discussion I think is going to be worth having. Star Trek Discovery has been slowly rolling out information over the course of the last week about the new franchise, about the new series coming out. They've announced that it's going to have some more adult content because it's streamed from CBS. Not sure how I feel about that. I kind of feel it should fit in with the family ethos because I don't think Star Trek is just about being actiony and exciting like the Abrams films. I really think it should be a family experience. I want to sit down with my daughter and watch it and not have to go, oh, look away, or you can't watch this episode. So we'll wait and see what happens there. However, they're also talking about the fact that it's going to be looked through the eyes of a female character and not the captain, which they say they've done, several times already. In fact, they're going to look through it through the lieutenant commander. I'm not really sure what they're talking about. Yes, Star Trek at the center has always had a captain, but the show doesn't exclusively revolve around the captain. In fact, there goes whole episodes without the captain being seen. The show benefits from having the interplay of these characters and following all of their lives in little bits. I don't really understand the idea of just doing a Star Trek series through the point of view of one solitary person. And I don't think whether she's male or female is really even a factor. It doesn't bother me. And I don't think it has really bothered any of the fans or audience, and no one seems to care. League of Legends are having tournaments this week, and this week saw Double Lift make the first 1,000th kill in a tournament. That is phenomenal. I actually have no reflection on this. There's no insight to be gained from this. I didn't learn anything new. I don't see the world differently as a result. I just thought it was really cool. I'm amazed constantly. We've got to get esports in Australia, by the way. If people are watching, I'm not saying that I should be the one that hosts it, but if you need a host, yes, please. Also this week, it's worth checking out the Meeple's Choice. The Meeple's Choice is nominated by the people. It's voted by the people. It's really the People's Award on Board Game Geek, and it's worth checking out. But of course, topping the list, coming number one, was Codenames. Yes, Codenames, which also won the Spiel des Jahres. Codenames, which is one of the simplest game designs. It's so simple, it just makes me think, why Why did this take so long for someone to think of? It's amazing. I think a while ago, Mike Selinker even said that he wished he had designed code names because he would love to get paid 10 grand for just doing an expansion by writing down 50 words. It builds tension, it gets people laughing, it gets people communicating, it gets people seeing things from new perspectives, and even seeing how they think differently. Codenames is a great game. I really highly recommend it myself, and I think it's great. This week, you can read some of my articles on gamerpalooza.com.au. You can see my top 5 and most anticipated games from Gen Con. Spoiler, Star Trek Ascendancy is #1. There's also other reviews and even an article about Pokemon Go. Surprise, surprise. This Thursday will also be the next core mechanic coming out, so definitely check that out on Thursday. Thanks for stopping on by. Hope you have a wonderful week. My name's Dave Adams, and that's what's happening now.